I don't know how you could watch that intro and not smile. It just gets me going every time. Good to see you guys in the chat box as you come in. Let us know where you're coming from. What type of diabetes are you living with? We're going to talk about some of the myths, some of the statements that are just false that come from the low carbohydrate community. Love the community. We're all in this together. We have more in common than we don't have in common, but we still have to address these confusing situations, confusing pieces of information. So we're going to talk about that today. And we're also going to answer questions. So last week we were supposed to talk about this, but we ended up just having a Q&A. So that could happen too, right? So we're going to have some fun here. We're going to have a lot of fun. I got a special bonus for all of you that are going to be here today. So it's misleading statements that we're going to be addressing. That's what we're going to be talking about. Okay. Mike, Ottawa, Canada, type 2. Great to have you with us. Excellent. Excellent. Also, I love when you guys celebrate your wins in the chat box. Definitely love hearing that. What's happened that's been good for you this week? What's been good for you in 2023? What's going to be good for you this weekend? What are you excited about? What changes have you seen? Maybe you've read the book recently. Let us know. Like, we just want to celebrate, guys. All right. We got our friend Diane from New York, type 2. Excellent. Glad to have you with us. Ohio in the house. Good to have you with us. Bonnie. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So as everybody's starting to roll in, we are going to get started. What I'm actually going to do is Catherine says, you're reversing insulin resistance. That's fantastic. All right. Sonia, type 1. I'm going to share my screen today. All right. So I'm going to go to share screen share. I'm going to pick this slide. So the information we're covering today is coming from this article. It's published on our website. Okay. Ketosis and the ketogenic diet, debunking 7 misleading statements. So we're just going to get started and we're going to have fun here. All right. So number 1, insulin is your fat storage hormone. We cover this in detail in the article. Okay. Now, I'm actually not going to go into that one right now. Eating carbohydrates spikes your blood glucose. We are going to talk about that one today. All right. We're going to talk about that one. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go back here. So that's the first myth we are going to address. It's a misleading statement. Carbohydrates spike your blood glucose. And these misleading statements, the reason it's so confusing is because a lot of you have probably experienced that. And you're like, wait a minute, that's actually happened to me. Okay. So I want you to write the letter S in the chat box if you've experienced a blood glucose spike, a really high number, higher than you want when you ate carbohydrates. Like, is that true for you? Like, put an S in the chat box. I want to know if other people have had that experience. We have certainly come across a lot of clients in our coaching program who come and join us and work with us, who come in with that struggle. They're like, look, part of the things I want you guys to help me solve is the fact that I am experiencing these spikes when I eat carbohydrates. And I people who come into our coaching program, they want to eat more carbohydrates. They're excited. They see us eating a bunch of fruit and potatoes and rice and beans and intact whole grains and enjoying all these great foods, and they want to do it too. So let me explain why this is a misleading statement. Why it's kind of it's not nuanced enough just saying that simple statement. All right. So number 1 is we have to consider what is the overall dietary environment in which carbohydrates are being consumed. That is the most important factor here. What we're saying is you can follow a low-fat plant-based whole food diet with amazing success if you're eating a low-fat diet. If you are not eating a low-fat diet, it's not going to work because we're teaching you the fact that science has shown us decade after decade, high-fat diets cause insulin resistance. Consuming excess dietary fat causes insulin resistance. Period. End of story. It's so clear. It's undeniable. All right. So if you're consuming any type of carbohydrate in a high-fat environment, then we're gonna have problems here. So Melinda says, definitely when I eat the wrong kind of carbs, bread, pasta, rice cakes with sugar. I'm Asian and we eat a lot of those. Okay, great. So you understand. So what I want to say here is you got to have it's got to be in a low fat environment. It's got to be in a low fat environment. Period of story. And then number 2 is what we had on the screen here from Diane, which is whole carbohydrate is different than refined carbohydrates. You cannot compare a mango to white sugar, to cookies and crackers and cakes and Skittles and all this crazy stuff out there. It's completely different. It's an entirely different experience for your body because the whole food has water, fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals. Okay? So completely different. But first and foremost is the fact that I don't know if you guys can hear that doorbell or not. There's a delivery that just came. You know what that delivery is? That delivery is fresh dates. That's what just came from the United States Postal Service. Dates are just coming into season, just so you guys know. I order from this special company called Batista Dates. Been ordering from them for years. They shipped them from California to Florida. And they're special barhies. My goodness, they are just so special. It's outrageous. Okay. Anyways, staying focused here. We addressed that myth real quick. All right. We're going to go look at another one. All right. We're not going to go through all of them. We're going to go through a couple key ones today just for funsies. Okay. All right. So this article, we cover this stuff in detail. Diabetes is carbohydrate toxicity, and insulin resistance is a state of carbohydrate intolerance. Okay. So this is a myth. Big myth. All right. Carbohydrate is not an essential nutrient. Big myth. Okay. Big myth, misunderstanding. Okay. Low fasting insulin means high insulin sensitivity. This is the other one I wanted to address today. Okay. Low fasting insulin means high insulin sensitivity. This is a very nuanced one. It's very important. So I'm curious if any of you have had your fasting insulin tested. I'm super curious. Let me know. Okay. Fasting insulin is a very interesting test, but here's where it can be misleading. All right. If you decide to reduce your carbohydrate content, okay, you decide to eat as little carbohydrate as possible, your body does not need to secrete as much insulin because you're not eating carbohydrates. You're not giving your body a reason to secrete more insulin in order to take the glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells because you're consuming such a small amount, right? So that does not mean you've become more insulin sensitive. That means you're consuming less glucose. Analogy I like to share is just imagine you are really, really bad at driving a car. Every time you get in that car, you end up getting a speeding ticket. You end up bumping into things. You hit signs. Like you're just a terrible, terrible driver. Okay. If we take away your driver's license, then you don't get tickets anymore. You don't get any more accidents. There's no problem. But did we actually fix the fact that you're a poor driver? Did we address the underlying cause of the problem, which is that you need to learn how to become a better driver? The answer is no. As a matter of fact, when you go back out on the road, you start driving again, you're probably going to be worse. You haven't been refining your skills. You haven't been working on it. And that's exactly what happens in low carb approach. You eat your way into insulin resistance. You eat your way into a state of glucose intolerance. You start eating more carbs again, and boom, you see these huge spikes. Okay? So what you want is you want an appropriate fasting insulin level while eating a healthy, whole food, carbohydrate-rich diet. That's what you want. It's not always about the least possible. So in the world of type 1 diabetes, oftentimes the type 1 world is like, let me take as little insulin as possible. Little. That's not a great idea either, because what your goal is as a type 1 is to inject the same amount of insulin that you physiologically would have produced if your pancreas was still working. That's the goal. It's not like Insulin is a necessary required hormone. We love insulin. We want appropriate amounts, not the tiniest amount possible. Appropriate, okay? What's the difference between fasting insulin test and blood glucose test? So fasting insulin is testing how much insulin is circulating in your bloodstream. It's a sign of your level of insulin resistance, including other factors. It's not just a one-off number, okay? You have to consider other factors, like I just covered. How much carbohydrate are you consuming? But it is in a moment in time. So it doesn't tell you the full picture. Now, if you want the full picture, you would do an oral glucose tolerance test and an insulin test simultaneously. Okay. So that is how that would go. All right. Now you want to test both. All right. Okay. So we're going to share one more myth here. Then we're going to answer some questions. So let me share screen slides. No, not slides. I want to share screen. Boom. Here we go. Share. Okay. We got another one. Low carbohydrate diets are not high protein diets. It's another misleading statement. Evidence-based research shows that low carbohydrate diets are effective. Okay, so this is the third one that we're going to cover today. Third one we're going to cover. And what I want to say here is when you look at the actual studies, this happens over and over and over again. Let me see if I can actually pull this up in PowerPoint. It's going to take me a moment. So let's see. But the issue here is that oftentimes people are not actually comparing a truly low-fat diet. That's the biggest problem. It's the biggest problem here. So let's see if I have a slide available. I might not have it in this deck. That's okay. All right. So oftentimes people say, oh, in this study, the low-carb diet performed better than the low-fat diet. But they say a low-fat diet is a diet that has 25% of calories from fat, 30% of calories from fat. That's not a low-fat diet. We are clearly communicating that an actual low-fat diet is no more than 15% of calories from fat. That's the maximum. And we have a whole article about all the research of what happens when you actually follow a low-fat diet. It's pretty extraordinary. So that's another misleading statement. If somebody ever tells you, oh, hey, this study that showed low carb was better, ask them, okay, hey, can you show me the study? And can you tell me what was the macronutrient ratio of the diets that were compared? Okay. So that was our 3 points that we were covering today. I hope you guys took notes and you wrote that down. Now we're going to answer some questions. All right. What is the book in between the Mastering Diabetes stack? Okay. Great question. Great question. I will tell you, I will show you. This is Mastering Diabetes in German. That's what it is. Boom. And then the other one here, if you look really closely, this is Mastering Diabetes in Japan. Boom. Super exciting. Okay. There you have it. All right. What's the next question? I had all my pre-admission testing done earlier in the week. Full knee replacement. All the doctors were thrilled with my weight loss and A1C. Diane, that's great. Congratulations. Congratulations. Very, very happy. So no nuts and seeds. So we are not saying that you should have no nuts and seeds. What we're saying is you should have an appropriate amount that keeps your fat intake under 15% of total calories. So it's going to be an appropriate amount for you. Let me see if I could find my fun image in here. I really should remember what page it's on by now. You know, I'm going to share my, I think it's on Amazon. Watch this. I'm going to share my screen. Mastering Diabetes, Amazon. Okay. That's where I'm going to get this picture I want to show you. All right. I'm pretty sure it's here. Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's share my screen. I'm going to answer this nuts and seeds question. Share screen. Boom. Okay. So this is the book. You can purchase it on Amazon. You can get the hardcover, the paperback. You can get the audiobook. We read the audiobook. But here's the image I want to show you guys. All right. So at the very top, what you can see on my screen right now, it says, eat all of these foods that consume 15 grams of fat. And this is an entire day of eating. And these are recipes that are in the book. So the book has 2 meal plans and a bunch of recipes for you as you transition. And so you have an apple and a banana for snacks and 3 meals. All right. This is 5 pounds, 6 ounces of food. On average, humans eat roughly between like 3 and 5 pounds of food per day. That's why on this program you get to eat more and weigh less because of the volume. But that's a different story for a different day. But what I want you to see here is the entire day of eating is 15 grams of fat. The entire day. Okay? So now everything below this line, or eat one of these foods below. There are 9 foods below. Each image is representing 15 grams of fat. So the entire day of eating 15 grams, or 1 tablespoon of olive oil, or less than an ounce of sesame seeds, or 1.8 tablespoons of peanut butter, or 1.1 ounces of almonds. Okay, like these are tiny amounts of food containing a significant amount of fat. We're trying to keep you under 30 grams of total fat per day. So if you had 2 of these, you're already going to be over, because even your day of just eating whole foods with a little bit of chia seeds, boom, you're going to be way over. So you really can pick one of these. It's not going to be smart to have the almonds and the avocado. Do you understand? Hopefully you guys understand that, okay? All right, so let's stop sharing my screen on that one. Stop sharing. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Holistic nutritionist here. Daily pushing against the low-carb and keto diets and promoting healthy whole food carbs. Excellent, Roberta. Excellent. Fruit, whole carbs, whole fruits. Low-carb does not work for me. I eat as low fat as possible vegan diet. Works amazing for me. That's fantastic. Excellent. Love that. Okay, and what about the little olive oil on a salad? So we think it's unnecessary. There's a lot of oil-free dressings that you can make that are so satisfying and help you align with your goals. It depends on what your goals are. If you're looking to truly lose weight, if you're looking to maximize your insulin sensitivity, so that's the deal. Let's see, what else am I going to say here? Wait, what if you want 1/2 an avocado and a handful of walnuts in the dish? Did you make it as... Okay, so Jennifer, here's your go. Can you have that? I eat that a lot. Okay, Jennifer, it depends on what your goals are. You might already be at some ideal weight and feeling good, and having a little extra fat is not a problem for you. That could be the case. You might be living with type 2 diabetes and on metformin and taking Jardiance and taking some insulin, and you're feeling terrible and you're like, I want to fix this as fast as possible. We're going to help you learn how to maximize your insulin sensitivity. So along those lines, I want to give you guys a guide that can give you recipes. You're talking about a salad that maybe you're eating that at dinner or lunch. We have a guide that I want to give you for free. If you want this guide, just write the word guide in the chat box on Facebook. If you do it on YouTube, we can't get to you. If you write guide on Facebook, you'll get this natural foolproof recipe guide. And what it is, it's actually a dinner challenge. That's what it is. It's a dinner challenge. All right. So it's amazing. You just write the word guide and you're going to get all these free recipes. Okay. It's pretty amazing. Got 10 pounds to go. I'm on metformin, 5-1 and Junivia a day. Okay, Jennifer, here's the deal. If you're only 10 pounds away from your ideal diet, from your ideal weight, and you're still using metformin and you're still using Januvia, I wonder if you maybe have been misdiagnosed. Have you had a C-peptide test? Do you know how much insulin your pancreas is producing? Very curious. Those are some pretty strong medications for somebody to be using that's only 10 pounds away from their ideal weight. Non-diabetic, but slightly high A1C of 5.6 to 5.8. Can you use a low-carb diet just as a first jumpstart weight loss, clear excess glucose stores? I would recommend against that. And one thing you can do with the Mastering Diabetes method, if executed properly, is you can genuinely get the same results in the short term. There's no difference in the short term, and then there's a better result in the long term. If you want to jumpstart and start getting the excess fat out of your cells, eating a high-fat diet is not a good way to go. Learning how to use intermittent fasting, learning how to play with calorie density. If you wanted to drop weight faster, do that within the Mastering Diabetes method. You can totally do that. That's what our coaches do. All right. Little olives. So yes, olives. We would encourage olives over olive oil. A small amount of olives would be great. Highly recommended. Those are in our yellow light food category. And yellow light foods are foods that are very healthy, nutritious. We're just teaching you to be cognizant of how much you're consuming so you don't consume too much and inhibit your ability to maximize your insulin sensitivity. Hi Rob, I don't have weight to lose. How can I gain weight? Okay, I think we've talked to you before, MAU. I believe we've covered this before, but we'll say it again. If you are having blood glucose problems and you're underweight, you have to get a C-peptide test. You got to make sure you have enough insulin being produced. Rule that out and then begin eating 500 extra calories per day, setting a goal of gaining a pound a week, and start doing resistance training. That's the combo. All right. So we're going to run out of time here, and I want to give everybody a little bit of a break before the next show, but you can go join Cyrus on the Amla Green channel. That's going to be on the next live. It's going to happen in 7 minutes from now, 1:30 Eastern. And you're going to get to talk to Cyrus, ask questions of Cyrus. He's talking about this medicinal plant, which we wrote about in our book. It's called Indian gooseberries, also known as amla berries, and it's very powerful. So you can learn over there. So this has been fun, guys. If you want the guide, you got to write the word guide. And if there are any questions we didn't get to today, make sure to go join Cyrus on the next episode. Okay. Jamie says, I will vouch for MD way of eating. I am on week 13 and down 13 pounds and feeling great. Janine, that's fantastic because losing about a pound a week is very healthy. That's a good pace. I'm very happy for you. That's really good. Keep that going. Excellent. Okay. Guys, if you're on YouTube and you write guide, we're not going to be able to get you the guide. You could email us, you could DM us on Instagram, but you have to write guide on Facebook to get the guide. It's really cool. It's a dinner challenge guide, and a lot of people struggle with dinner and dinner recipes and all that. So we're here to help you. So this was super fun, guys. Again, Amla Green, that's the next show. Enjoy it. And next time I'll be live is on Wednesdays at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. I have a cooking show called Simple Meals. I'll see you there. And then we're here every Friday. So have a great weekend, everybody. Catch you later.